Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan. Whether you're a new listener or you've been following us for a while, welcome back to Speak Up. This is the place where we help you grow your English in the most practical, natural way. Today's episode is going to be super interesting, especially if you've ever felt stuck while trying to speak or think in English. Trust me, we've all been there.
Hey guys, I'm Priya, and I'm really excited about this topic. A lot of English learners feel like they're doing everything right, watching videos, reading books, but still, they don't feel fluent. You know what? The problem isn't always about grammar or vocabulary. Sometimes it's about how your brain is working with the language, and that's what we're digging into today.
Exactly. We're not just going to talk about study tips today. We're going deeper. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to learn English naturally, almost like magic? Well, there's actually a science behind it. And once you understand it, you can use it to your own advantage, no matter your age or background.
And don't worry, it's not going to be complicated. We're going to keep things simple and clear, just like we always do. You'll learn how to build English into your daily life in a way that feels natural and easy. So stay with us, because this might just change the way you learn forever.
So, we've just talked about how fluency isn't just about study, it's also about how your brain handles English. Now, let's dive into what we actually mean when we say rewire your brain for English. It sounds a bit technical, but it's actually simple. Think of your brain like a bunch of roads. When you always think in your native language, your brain keeps using the same old roads. But when you start learning English, you're building new roads or new pathways in your brain. The more you use them, the stronger they get.
Exactly, and that's what brain rewiring is. You're training your brain to take a new path, one that leads to English. At first, it feels slow or awkward, just like walking through a path in the forest that no one's used to. But if you walk that path every day, by practicing, speaking, thinking in English, it becomes smoother. That's how you start to learn English naturally. Your brain begins to prefer English without forcing it.
Right, and here's the cool part. This is not something only smart or talented people can do. One big myth in language learning is that some people are just born good at it. Not true. It's all about what you do regularly. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. That just means it can change. It can grow, adapt, and build new habits at any age. You just need to give it the right signals and repeat them.
Yes, neuroplasticity is what allows you to rewire your brain for English fluency. Think of it like this. Your brain is always listening. If you feed it English every day, even just little bits, like thinking in English or describing what you see, your brain starts to get the message. Oh, English is important. That's when real change begins. It's not magic. It's just daily input and practice.
And that's why people who surround themselves with English, like watching English shows, listening to English podcasts, or just talking to themselves in English, often improve faster. Their brains are constantly being exposed to the language. They're building and strengthening those English pathways without even realizing it. That's how you start to learn English naturally, without always translating or memorizing grammar rules.
It's like going to the gym, but for your brain. The more often you exercise in English, the stronger your brain becomes at using it. And the best part is, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Every time you think, speak, or hear something in English, you're rewiring your brain step by step. And over time, English fluency becomes a natural part of how you think.
All right, let's talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with: translating in your head. You're trying to speak English, but your brain keeps going back to your native language first. You think of the sentence in your language, then try to turn it into English. Sounds familiar? That's what we call the translation trap, and it's one of the biggest things that slows down your fluency. It feels safe at first, but it actually holds you back from speaking smoothly.
Yes, exactly. When you translate in your head all the time, you create a delay. You're not really speaking English, you're translating word by word, and that takes time. It's like driving with the handbrake on. You might still move forward, but it's slow, stressful, and honestly, not fun. And that's where a lot of fear and hesitation comes from. You start thinking, what if I say it wrong? Or is this grammar okay? because your brain is too busy juggling two languages.
Totally. One of the most powerful English fluency tips is this: stop translating in your head. Instead, start training your brain to think directly in English. This doesn't mean you need to speak fast or use big words. It means you try to picture the idea in English right away. For example, instead of thinking, "I am hungry" in your language and then translating, just connect the feeling of hunger directly with the English sentence. It saves brain power and builds confidence.
And the good news is it's a skill you can build. Direct thinking in English gets easier the more you practice. Start small. Label things around you in English. Make simple sentences in your mind like, "I am walking," or "This coffee is hot." You don't need to speak them out loud. Just think about them. That's the secret behind fluency. Your thoughts start changing first, and your words will follow.
Exactly. Think of it like switching apps on your phone. If you open the English app in your brain more often, it stays active. The more you use it, the less you need to go back to your native language. And soon, your brain starts to prefer thinking in English because it feels easier and faster. That's how you break the translation habit.
So, if you're wondering why you feel stuck even after years of studying, this might be the reason. You're still using your native language as a middle step, but now you know what to do. Start thinking in English directly, even if it's just a few minutes a day. You'll start noticing your brain changing, your confidence growing, and your sentences flowing more naturally.
Okay, so now that we've talked about how translation slows us down, let's look at some easy fluency techniques you can use every single day to start thinking in English automatically. One of my favorites is super simple. Talk to yourself in English. You don't need anyone around. Just use your morning thoughts. When you wake up, instead of saying, "I need to brush my teeth" in your native language, try saying it in English. Even little things like your to-do list, say it in English out loud or in your head.
That's such a great tip, Ryan. And here's another powerful one. Name things around you in English. This is what we call English thinking practice. When you walk into a room, look around and say, "This is a table. That's a chair. The light is on." It might seem basic, but it trains your brain to recognize and describe your world in English. And you can take it a step further. Describe actions too. For example, "I'm pouring water." "I'm locking the door." These small steps add up quickly.
I love that. And here's one of the most creative daily English speaking exercises: visual thinking. Just close your eyes and imagine a scene. Maybe you're in a cafe or walking through a park. Now describe it in English. What do you see? What do you hear? What are people doing? Try to narrate that scene in your mind like you're telling a story. This helps connect your imagination with the English language, which is huge for fluency.
Yes, visualization is powerful. And if you want to take your speaking to the next level, try mirror practice. This means standing in front of a mirror and speaking to yourself like you're talking to someone else. You can copy native speakers, mimic how they speak, their tone, rhythm, even their expressions. It may feel awkward at first, but it's one of the most effective fluency techniques out there. It builds confidence and helps your mouth get used to forming English sounds.
Exactly. When you copy how English actually sounds, your brain starts to understand the flow of real speech. You're not just memorizing sentences, you're learning how to deliver them naturally. And doing this every day, even for just 5 minutes, creates momentum. It's all about repetition and rhythm. These daily English speaking exercises train both your mind and your mouth.
And the best part, you don't need a textbook or a teacher for any of this. Just your voice, your imagination, and a little time each day. The more you think in English, the less you'll need to force it. These tiny daily habits are what build big fluency over time. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now, wherever you are.
So, we've talked about thinking in English and mental exercises. But here's the real shift: replacing old habits with ones that support your fluency. Let's be honest, most of us spend time scrolling social media, right? Why not scroll in English? Follow English creators, watch short clips, listen to podcasts, or read comments in English. This is what we call English immersion. You don't need to force yourself to study, you're just switching the language of the content you already enjoy.
Yes, and a small but powerful change: set your phone language to English. At first, it might feel confusing, But soon, your brain starts picking up common words like settings, notifications, update. It becomes part of your English daily routine without any extra effort. You're seeing English every time you check your phone, and that repetition really helps lock in those everyday words.
Exactly. And here's one of my favorite English learning habits. Use English to plan your day. Whether it's journaling, writing a quick to-do list, or even leaving yourself a sticky note, do it in English. When you write down buy groceries or call mom at 5 p.m., your brain starts linking English to real life. It's not about grammar perfection. It's about training your mind to live more of your day through English.
Right, and for those who feel too busy, try micro habits. These are small actions that take just a few minutes. For example, listen to an English voice note or read a short paragraph before bed. 5 minutes is all it takes. The key is consistency. These tiny habits may seem small, but they build your English immersion over time. You're giving your brain a new language environment without needing to move to another country.
I love that because people often think they need hours of study time. But really, it's about changing what you already do in little ways. You already use your phone, you already scroll, you already write notes. Now you just do those things in English. That's how new English learning habits replace the old ones. It's not extra work, it's smarter work.
Exactly. And once these changes become part of your normal routine, you won't even realize how much English exposure you're getting. That's the magic of habit. Your day becomes your teacher, and every little moment adds up. So look at your current routine and ask, what can I switch to English today? You'll be surprised how easy it is to start.
Let's talk about something really important: emotion. A lot of learners focus on rules and grammar, which is okay, but the brain learns faster when there's feeling involved. This is called emotional learning. Think about your favorite memories. They stick because of how they made you feel, right? The same goes for English. When you connect with English emotionally, it stops feeling like school and starts feeling like life.
So true. One of the best ways to do that is by watching shows in English that make you feel something. It could be a drama that makes you cry, a comedy that makes you laugh, or even a documentary that gives you goosebumps. When you're emotionally involved, your brain absorbs the language without even realizing it. That's immersive English learning at its best. You're not just watching, you're feeling in English.
Exactly. And here's a great practice for emotional connection: journaling. Write about your day, your thoughts, your dreams in English. You don't have to show it to anyone. Just let your real feelings come out. When you write about something that matters to you, the language becomes more personal. This kind of emotional learning helps words stick because they're tied to your own experiences.
And don't forget music. Music is so powerful for emotion. Try listening to English songs that really speak to you. Read the lyrics, understand the meaning, and most importantly, sing along. It doesn't matter if your voice is perfect. Singing in English builds fluency, rhythm, and confidence. Plus, if the song moves you, that emotional connection will help you remember the words forever.
Totally. Music and emotion go hand in hand. I still remember English phrases I learned from songs when I was a kid because I felt them. That's what makes immersive English learning work. It's not about sitting with a textbook. It's about finding English in the moments that touch your heart. Laugh, cry, sing. Just do it in English.
And when you do, English stops being just a subject. It becomes a part of who you are. That's the goal, not just learning English, but living it. So find what moves you and bring English into that space. That's how you build a real, lasting bond with the language.
Here's something a lot of English learners get wrong. They treat it like school. But the real key? Train like an athlete. Think about it. Athletes don't lift a heavy weight once and call it a day. They repeat again and again. That's how brain wiring works too. When you repeat English words or sentences often, your brain forms stronger, faster connections. That's real English memory training. Without repetition, knowledge fades. With it, fluency builds.
Yes, but here's the catch. Don't cram everything in one day. Cramming might feel productive, but your brain forgets most of it quickly. Instead, use spaced repetition. This is a method where you practice the same words or phrases after a gap, maybe the next day or 2 days later. This gives your brain just enough struggle to remember it better next time. That's why tools like Anki work so well for spaced repetition in English. They help you review smarter, not harder.
I totally agree, and flashcards are gold for English vocabulary practice. They're simple, but when you use them right, with spaced recall, you're not just memorizing words, you're training your memory, like an athlete trains muscles. You can use apps, physical cards, or even digital sticky notes. Review a little every day. Keep the rhythm going, and it builds automatic recall. That's what we want. English that comes out without hesitation.
Another amazing technique I swear by is shadowing. This is where you listen to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast, movie, or YouTube video, and repeat what they say exactly how they say it. You copy their tone, speed, even emotion. It's like karaoke for language learners. This method trains your mouth, your ears, and your brain at the same time. It's one of the best English memory training tools out there, especially if you want to sound more natural.
Yes, and the great part is, shadowing builds rhythm and fluency without needing to think about grammar. You're absorbing structure naturally, just like a baby learning their first language. Combine that with spaced repetition, and you're unstoppable. This approach is for people who want real fluency, not just textbook answers. You'll feel more confident and more in control of your learning.
So if you're feeling stuck, don't just study harder, train smarter. Treat your brain like a muscle. Give it time, repetition, and smart recall. Whether it's with apps, shadowing, or daily vocabulary practice, you're not just learning, you're building fluency that sticks. And that's what spaced repetition English is really about. Mastery through rhythm, not pressure.
Finally, let's talk about something we all face. FLA, or the fluency anxiety loop. Have you ever felt scared to speak English because you might make a mistake? That fear creates a loop. You stay quiet, your brain gets no practice, and then you lose confidence. This fear actually stops your brain from learning. It's like your mind shuts down before the words can even come out. But here's the good news. You can rewire that fear with tiny positive steps.
Yes, exactly. One of the best ways to overcome speaking fear is by creating small wins. Even saying one clear sentence in English is a win. Celebrate that. Tell yourself that was progress. Every time you speak, even if it's not perfect, you're training your brain to relax. That's how you build English fluency confidence. Fear shrinks when success grows, so start small and let the wins pile up.
Here's a simple but powerful trick: positive self-talk. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at English," say, "I am becoming fluent." It feels small, but it makes a huge difference. This is called an English mindset shift. You're changing your brain's response from fear to growth. The more you tell your brain that you're improving, the more it believes it. That belief becomes your new habit.
And don't forget, mistakes are not failures. They're progress markers. Each mistake means you tried, and trying is learning. So next time you make a mistake, smile and say, "That's one step closer to fluency." You're not stuck, you're learning. You're not behind, you're in motion. Reframing how you see mistakes is key to rewiring your brain for success.
And with that, we want to say thank you for spending this time with us today. You've taken a huge step just by listening. Remember, fluency isn't magic. It's mindset, habits, and heart. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing that English is your language too.
You've got this. Whether you're speaking out loud, thinking in English, or simply changing your phone's language, you're rewiring your brain every day. So be proud of your progress, no matter how small it feels. Thanks again for being with us. We'll see you next time on Speak Up.